The night of our 5th anniversary began like any other special night we had shared. Calm on the surface, but filled with quiet hopes. I came home early from work, carrying a small gift I had picked up on my lunch break. It wasn't expensive. Just a bracelet I thought my wife Sarah would like. The house smelled of fresh food, and soft music played in the background. She had cooked my favorite meal, and for a moment, everything felt perfect. We laughed, talked about old memories, and remembered how we used to dream together when we were younger. Sarah looked nervous that night, though. She smiled often, but her hands kept moving, fixing things that were already fine. I noticed it, but didn't think much of it. Anniversaries can make people emotional. After dinner, she suggested we sit in the living room instead of going out. She said she had planned something special. I trusted her completely, so I agreed without question. A little later, the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. Sarah's smile tightened, then widened again. She walked to the door and opened it, and that's when her sister, Lena, stepped inside. I was surprised, but not upset. Lena had always been close to Sarah. She had gone through a rough time recently, and Sarah had been helping her a lot. Still, seeing her on our anniversary night felt strange. Lena hugged Sarah first, then me. She said she just wanted to wish us a happy anniversary. She brought a small cake and joked that she didn't want us to forget dessert. I laughed politely, but something felt off. Sarah avoided my eyes for a moment, then told me Lena would stay for a short while. I told myself it was fine. Family is family. We sat together, the three of us, talking about simple things. Lena shared stories about her new job, and Sarah listened closely, almost too closely. I noticed how often Sarah checked Lena's face, as if waiting for some sign. The room felt tight, even though nothing bad had happened yet. After some time, Sarah stood up and said she had another surprise. She asked me to close my eyes. I smiled, feeling a mix of excitement and confusion. I trusted her, so I did as she asked. I heard movement around me, soft footsteps, whispers I couldn't fully catch. Then Sarah told me to open my eyes. Both Sarah and Lena stood in front of me. Sarah held my hand and spoke slowly. She said she wanted honesty in our marriage, complete honesty. She said this night was about truth and change. Her words didn't sound like a celebration anymore. My heart started to beat faster. She explained that over the past year, things between us had changed. We'd grown distant without realizing. Work, stress, routine, all of it had slowly built a wall between us. I agreed that things hadn't been perfect, but I never thought they were broken. I tried to speak, but she gently asked me to listen first. Then Lena spoke. Her voice shook. Slightly, she said she never wanted to hurt me, and that she respected me as her sister's husband. The way she said it made my stomach turn. Sarah squeezed my hand harder, as if preparing me for something heavy. Sarah admitted that she had shared too much with Lena over the months. Every fight, every silent night, every feeling of being unseen. Lena had listened, comforted her, and supported her. That part didn't bother me. What came next did. Sarah said that lines had been crossed. Not all at once, not in a dramatic moment, but slowly. Late-night talks turned into emotional dependence. Comfort turned into confusion. She said she felt lost and didn't know how to stop it once it started. Lena looked down, tears in her eyes. I felt frozen. My mind struggled to understand what I was hearing. Sarah insisted nothing physical had happened. But emotions had gone where they shouldn't. She said she wanted to be honest now, before things became worse. She said she loved me and wanted to fix our marriage. The room felt smaller. The air felt heavy. I looked at Lena, searching for denial, anger, anything. She whispered an apology and said she should have stepped back sooner. She said she was lonely and broken herself, and being close to Sarah made her feel safe. She never planned for it to go that far. I stood up slowly. My legs felt weak. I didn't shout or cry. I just asked one simple question. Why tonight? Why on our anniversary? Sarah said she couldn't carry the secret anymore. She said, starting, a new year of marriage without truth felt wrong. I walked to the window and stared outside. Cars passed by like nothing had changed in the world. Inside, my life felt like it was cracking. I had trusted both of them. The betrayal wasn't loud or dramatic, but it cut deep. Sarah followed me and said she wanted us to rebuild, to go to counseling, to start again. She promised transparency and distance from Lena. Lena said she would leave and give us space, even cut contact if needed. Their words sounded serious, but my heart was numb. I told Lena to go home, not angrily, just firmly. She nodded, picked up her bag, and left quietly. When the door closed, the house felt empty in a way I had never felt before. Sarah and I sat, in silence, for a long time. I could hear the clock ticking on the wall. Every second felt loud. I finally told her I needed time. I didn't know what I felt yet. Love, anger, sadness, all of it mixed together. She cried softly, but didn't argue. She said she would sleep in the guest room and give me space. That night, our anniversary ended without gifts, without celebration, without comfort. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every memory, every moment I had ignored. I wondered how close I had come to losing everything without even knowing it. I wondered if honesty now was enough to save us, or if the damage was already too deep. As the sun began to rise, one thing was clear. Our marriage would never be the same again. Part 1 of our story ended there, not with answers, but with questions that refused to let me rest. The morning after our anniversary felt unreal. I woke up on the couch with my back stiff and my head heavy. For a moment, I hoped everything from the night before had been a bad dream. Then I heard the shower running in the guest room, and the truth came back all at once. The house felt different, like it no longer belonged to both of us. Sarah avoided my eyes at breakfast. She placed a cup of tea in front of me and whispered, "Good morning." Her voice sounded small. I nodded but said nothing. Words felt dangerous. One wrong sentence could turn pain into something worse. After a few minutes, she told me she was taking the day off work. She said we needed to talk when I was ready. I grabbed my keys and left without answering. I drove aimlessly through the city, passing streets I had known for years. Every place held a memory of us. A cafe where we once planned our future. A park where we argued and made up. I realized how much of my life was tied to Sarah. The thought scared me. I wondered who I was without her trust. At work, I couldn't focus. My phone buzzed several times, but I didn't check it. I needed silence. By afternoon, I felt exhausted, as if I had run a long race without moving. I left early and went home, not because I wanted to talk, but because I had nowhere else to go. Sarah was waiting in the living room. She had cleaned the house, as if order could fix what was broken. She stood when I entered and asked if we could talk. I sat across from her. The space between us felt wider than the room. She spoke first. She said she had spent the whole day thinking about how we got there. She admitted she had felt unseen for a long time. Not unloved, but unheard. She said she tried to be strong, to handle things alone, but slowly leaned on the wrong person. She didn't blame me, but she didn't fully blame herself either. She said it was a failure of communication, not love. I listened quietly. When she finished, I asked her a question I had been holding in all day. I asked if she still loved me. She answered without hesitation. Yes. She said she wanted a future with me, not with confusion, not with secrets. Just us. I told her love wasn't enough if trust was damaged. I asked how I could be sure nothing like this would happen again. She said she was willing to do whatever it took. She offered counseling, open access to her phone, clear boundaries. With everyone, including Lena. She said she would stop contact with her sister for as long as needed. Hearing Lena's name brought back a wave of anger I had been pushing down. I asked Sarah why she didn't come to me instead. She said she was afraid of starting a fight, afraid of being misunderstood, afraid of changing the peace we had in trying to protect our marriage. She had risked it instead. That night, I slept in the bedroom while she stayed in the guest room. It felt wrong, but also necessary. Over the next few days, we lived like careful strangers. We talked about bills, work, simple things, nothing deeper. The real conversation stayed in the air, waiting. Lena tried to contact me. She sent a long message saying she was sorry, that she never meant to hurt anyone. I didn't reply. I blocked her number, not out of hate, but to protect myself. Sarah understood and didn't question it. A week later, we went to our first counseling session. Sitting in that office felt awkward and exposed. The counselor asked us to speak honestly, without blame. Sarah talked about her loneliness. I talked about my shock and loss of trust. For the first time, I said out loud that I felt betrayed. The word tasted bitter, but true. The counselor explained how emotional boundaries can blur when people are vulnerable. She said understanding the mistake was the first step, but rebuilding trust would take time and effort from both of us. There was no quick fix. After the session, we went for a long walk. The city lights flickered on as the sun went down. Sarah reached for my hand but stopped halfway, waiting. I appreciated that. I took her hand myself. It was a small step, but it mattered. Days turned into weeks. We kept our routine but added honesty to it. We talked more, even when it was uncomfortable. Sarah shared her feelings instead of hiding them. I shared my fears instead of burying them. Some nights ended in silence, others in tears, but we didn't walk away. Still, doubt followed me everywhere. Sometimes, when Sarah smiled at her phone, my chest tightened. She noticed and reassured me, even when I didn't ask. Trust didn't return all at once. It came in fragile pieces. One evening, Sarah told me. Lena was planning to move to another city. She said it was best for everyone. I nodded, feeling both relief and sadness. Families break in quiet ways, and no one talks about it. As more time passed, I began to see Sarah differently. Not as perfect, not as broken, but as human. I also saw myself more clearly. I realized I had stopped listening long before she stopped talking. That truth hurt, but it also gave me direction. We celebrated no milestones during that time. Dates, no parties, just daily effort. Cooking together, walking together. Learning how to be honest again. One night, months after our anniversary, Sarah asked me if I thought we could truly move forward. I looked at her and saw fear in her eyes, the same fear I felt inside. I told her I didn't know for sure, but I was willing to try. Part 2 of Our Story didn't end with forgiveness or certainty. It ended with commitment. Commitment to face the damage, to sit in the discomfort, and to rebuild something slower but stronger. The future was still unclear, but for the first time since that night, it felt possible. The months that followed tested us in ways I never imagined. Trust is not rebuilt with promises. It grows through daily choices, and every day felt like a quiet exam we both feared failing. Some mornings were easy. Others began with a weight on my chest that followed me until night. Sarah stayed consistent. She shared everything without being asked. Her schedule, her thoughts, even her doubts. At first, it felt forced, like she was walking on glass. Over time, it became natural. I saw effort, not fear. That mattered. Counseling became part of our routine. Each session peeled back layers we had ignored for years. We talked about expectations we never voiced. About how comfort slowly replaced effort. About how love can survive but still feel lonely. These talks were hard, but they cleared the fog. I had my own work to do. I realized how much I avoided conflict. I chose silence to keep peace. Not knowing silence can also build distance. I learned to speak up early, before small issues grew heavy. It wasn't easy. I stumbled often. But I stayed present. One afternoon while cleaning old boxes, I found photos from our early years. We were younger, smiling without effort. I felt a sharp sadness. Then something softer. Hey, we're still those people, just tired and hurt. I showed the photos to Sarah. We laughed, then cried. It felt like meeting each other again. Lena moved away quietly. No drama, no final talks. Just distance. I wished her peace from afar, but kept my boundary firm. Sarah respected that fully. She never pushed. That respect slowly healed something inside me. There were setbacks. One evening, an argument started over nothing and turned into everything. Old pain rushed back. Voices rose. For a moment, I thought, this was where it ended. Then we stopped. We breathed. We chose not to hurt each other, just to release pain. That choice felt powerful. We began creating new habits. Weekly walks without phones, simple meals cooked together. Honest check-ins where we shared one fear and one hope. These moments rebuilt. Connection in quiet ways. I noticed changes in myself too. I listened more, asked questions instead of assuming. I let myself be vulnerable even when it felt risky. Sarah responded with patience. Slowly, the fear of the past lost its grip. One night, we talked about the future honestly. Not dreams, but realities. What forgiveness really meant. What boundaries would look like forever. What we would do if doubt returned. We didn't promise perfection, we promised effort. On our next anniversary, we didn't plan anything big. Just dinner at home, candles, simple food, no pressure. At one point, Sarah apologized again, softly. I told her I wasn't holding the past over us anymore. Not because it disappeared, but because we faced it. I realized forgiveness is not forgetting. It is choosing not to live in the wound. That choice freed me. As the night ended, we sat together in silence. Not awkward, not heavy, peaceful. The kind of silence that feels earned. Our story didn't end with a dramatic moment, settled into something calmer, stronger, and more honest. We were no longer the same couple, and that was okay. We were better equipped, more aware, and deeply committed. Part 3 ends not with certainty, but with trust rebuilt step by step. With love, chosen daily. With a marriage that survived not because it was perfect, but because we refused to stop trying.